Hello. Hello, Dot Hort, and X-Gemini. Hi. Hope you can hear me. I changed the settings again. And I hope I have a fan blowing in the background. I hope that's not too annoying. Maybe I'm going to have to turn that off at some point. Dot Hort. And it's a spontaneous stream. I felt like being a bit nostalgic, so I'm having a Pepsi from a can. Pepsi Light, actually. And hello, Pablo. And I'm playing the game that I probably played most days in my youth when I came home from school. I remember riding my bike back home from school, wanting to play Populous II. This is a game I think I was quite good at it. I think I even played through it. It has like 1,000 levels, I think. But that was back in the day, back in the 90s when it was released, I think 91 or something. So I'm going to give it a try. This is one of the games that whenever I started up to test something, to test an Amiga or something like that, I'm just stuck for 1 or 2 hours at least playing this. So yeah, I felt like doing this tonight. And maybe we can talk about things, life and stuff. And some minor things that happened in the retro computer world, like Commodore being relaunched and things like that. Hey, Radiate. Ah, I get it. I'm generally very, very bad at interpreting and pronouncing your nicknames, but Radiate, I understood that. Thanks for making it easy. I don't know if I have ever played this on stream. Turrican 2 is the go-to test method, of course. But to be honest, if I'm alone with an Amiga, I probably more often start this or the Populous one. But Turrican is always... I sometimes start that just to listen to the title music. It's just amazing, of course. Yeah, let's create a deity. And of course, Jan. The mighty Jan. And I don't remember much, but I think the first disasters we can do in this game are fire and water. Maybe this. Weather. God of Retro. Not even close. But I'm good at pretending to be a god of retro. Sometimes. Proceed. And we're going to start at level 1, because I don't have any save games on here. This is an Amiga 600, as you can probably tell. And I'm using the RGB to HDMI that I put in here. And it's also slightly accelerated, running a... What is the cartridge called? Not sure what the expansion is called. The 68020 accelerator card for the A600. I forgot about that. Forgot what it's called. And of course, this is running from the WHD load version that is kind of fixed for game speed, because if you run this on an accelerated Amiga, normally, which does work fine even in the new Workbench Kickstart combinations, you get a highly accelerated game, which isn't as fun. I mean, it's quite challenging, but it is not as fun as the original speed. And this is slightly faster than on an Amiga 500, but I think that's probably what it's supposed to feel like. You're going to see. I started this up yesterday and played for 2 hours. And I thought today, I wanted to play this anyway, so I thought if I play this anyway, might as well start a stream. And talk to some people. Sorry. Pepsi. I'm not used to Pepsi. Strong stuff. Yeah, another good thing about the WHD load version of this is, of course, that the copy protection is no longer there. I actually have the original copy of this, so I'm not really pirating this, although I downloaded this version, but I have the original discs and big box. And I'm probably going to zone out at some point because this game is just like meditating for me. Oh. So yeah, maybe I'm not going to read the chat that much. This is mainly for my own recreation. Spent all day soldering, or rather troubleshooting and burning EPROMs and all kinds of fun stuff. No worries, enjoy it. Thank you. I hope this is enjoyable. I'm going to try to stay a bit focused on the chat, and the first levels of this are not really a challenge if you played this seriously before, which I definitely did many times. Semi-Poet, the Semi-Poet, Populous II, yeah, one of the best games, and I think I think it's quite underrated these days. I mean, back then it was quite a hit. I'm not sure which one sold better. Probably the first version, which is basically the same, just with different graphics and less disasters you can do and things like that. So I like this one way better. I played the first one a lot as well. And I own the original of that as well, which was my father's originally, but he doesn't use Amigas anymore. How's the heartbeat sound volume? Hey, thanks for subscribing. Fluffy chickens. I am so honored that I have a sore throat all of a sudden. Thank you. Yeah, this first level you can basically do whatever you want and just do this. The poor man's volcano, as we like to call it. But in later levels you can't move land when there's none of your people in the frame, basically. This is very easy, kind of tutorial-like level. But that's quite good because it's been a while since I seriously played that. Pretty old pixel, evening. Good to see you. So, do you hear the fan noise in the background? I see it in my graph here, but it's probably not very loud. I'm going to have to leave that on because it's it's a super small room and it's getting really warm, especially since I spent all day in here doing things with glowing metals, basically soldering. I'm pretty well. I'm a bit exhausted, but yeah, I've had some troubles with my mental health, but that's mostly gone now. That's why I'm back into streaming stuff. I had COVID a couple of weeks back again. Actually, that's why I didn't stream for some weeks now. I wanted to do this more regularly, and then the disease struck again. I think the third time that I had it, but not very bad. It's still, I won't recommend getting it, but yeah. How are you, pretty old pixel? Long time no speak. Or read and write. Had COVID 5 times, okay. You got me beaten. Yeah, no fun. I hope you and me and everyone else don't get any permanent effects. Still a bit unknown what actually happens when you have COVID, I think. I mean, there's at least they have figured long COVID out, or that exists at least. But there's no real cure and no long-term science. Research. Pretty good, that's good. Oh, you mean the COVID? It's not good. But this time I just had a sore throat and a bit of fever, and I was like exhausted for a week or something, and then I started feeling better. And the good thing was, or yeah, kind of good timing, because I literally felt it setting in. The fever set in when I was just about to finish editing the video I was editing at the time. So I could release a video, be sick for a week, and then make another video. So there were like 10 days between videos, which is pretty normal for my channel. Yeah, but a lot happened in between, and I had to kind of rush the second video. So let's do some serious stuff here. COVID can go straight to hell. Yes, indeed. That's where it came from, probably. So that's my chief, leader, whatever. Not sure what the correct English translation is. My chieftain? He's going pretty strong, that's good. What are you doing there? You should build a house. Okay. Settle down. Champion. Oh, that's true. That makes sense. Championing me. I don't even remember what the word in the German manual is. Might look that up. Should have it somewhere here. So Now we can make our champion really, really strong by telling all our people to go to him. And you can see these bars there on top in the little Colosseum. That's his energy level. And once that reaches 4 bars or something, we can turn him into Achilles, I think is what that is. Or Hercules? Not sure. These are all Greek demigods. But first, I want to do some damage to the enemy by randomly putting some flames here. Which are not going to last very long because I don't have a lot of energy as a deity yet. This early in the game. So, how's my champion doing? It's a blonde woman looking person now. So just powering my champion up again. That's funny, you can see the Pepsi can slightly. It's a bit dangerous putting it so close to an Amiga, I guess. Hey, Tinspin, good to see you. Yeah, I'm just going to turn my champion into Hercules, I think. Achilles? Yeah, probably Achilles. Achilles is the one that's a kind of a warrior. Hey, thanks, Pretty Old Pixel. Have a fabulous week yourself. Thanks for stopping by. So you drink a Pepsi yet Coca-Cola commercial keeps popping up on Twitch. I'm sorry about that. Don't have any control. I'm advertising Pepsi. No, I'm not. I'm just drinking. I'm randomly drinking what I had in my fridge. They don't pay me for drinking Pepsi. Maybe they should, but I don't even like Pepsi that much, so no point really. So it's looking quite good actually. We nearly won already. Did you see the Outrun arcade version for Amiga? Yeah, I saw a video of that. But I didn't play it myself yet. I think it needs a 68030 to run anyway, and an AGA Amiga, so it wouldn't run on this. But I have suitable Amigas. I'm going to have to try that sometime. Although I'm not really a huge fan of Outrun, but this version looks pretty much like the arcade. Like I remember the arcade looked. Which is pretty astounding. So you have 2 little people on the mountaintop there. That's nice. Wonder if there were any drink-related games on Amiga like Cool Spot. Super Frog is what's it called? Lucozade? Don't know what that is pronounced like. Super Frog is basically sponsored by a drink. And then there are probably more, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Probably there's a Pepsi game and a Coca-Cola game of some description. But they are probably not very good, that's why they got forgotten. So not too many of these people left here. Got my 1200 working with the Pico Wi-Fi this weekend. So great transferring games over TCP/IP. Tried Phantasy Star and Castlevania. Yeah. That is cool, having Wi-Fi on an Amiga. I don't know, I reinstalled my A1200. I had one of those PC MCIA Wi-Fi cards in there for a while, but I didn't set up the online stuff yet again. So my Amigas are all offline at the moment. My champion died. We can make a new one. Uh-oh. That's what happens if you wait too long, by the way. If you take too long to finish a level, there's just some random disasters happening. So let's speed this up a bit. That should probably be enough. Yay! When running the chat64, I learned that C64 does not have an underscore. Yeah, I had a similar problem. My password was too long, actually, for my Wi-Fi. I have a ridiculously long Wi-Fi password. And the chat64 cartridge didn't like that. So I just set up a guest network to use the chat64. Which makes sense anyway, I guess. Too secure for the C64, indeed. Yay, first level is done. And we get a new lightning bolt. Can't change my looks, by the way. I didn't even remember that. Yeah. Angry God. That's good. Are we an angry God? I think this actually has some effect on the game, or how the... That's good looking. So Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, let's do it like this. Used my mobile with hotspot. Yeah, that's good too. That's a good idea actually, because we can quickly set that up anywhere you are. Can use it on an SX64. and take a generator with you to power that. Next level. This is going to be harder. And it's going to take a while until the landscape changes, if I remember correctly, but there's different sceneries basically that don't have much effect other than looking differently. But I think there's some things like there's winter. I think people who are not in a house die quicker and things like that. But I don't remember for sure. Just realizing that I played this with the original tank mouse most of the times I played it back in the day. And I'm now using an optical mouse, which is a lot more precise. And easier to move. So this definitely benefits this game. Fixato, hey, I miss Bullfrog games, yeah. I mean, there were some good games up until, I don't know, when did Dungeon Keeper come out? And I guess Populous II, and then everything wasn't as good. But they made quite some impact on me as with this alone, I think. And with things like Syndicate and so many good games. Like, and each time it was something new that hadn't been done before. That was glorious times. And this thing here, I can still play this for hours and have lots of fun. It just holds up really well. Gameplay wise, of course, the graphics are, I guess they are trendy now again, because pixel graphics are kind of hip. Back when Molinho was known for his games. Yeah. He made some reputation in other fields. Built some reputation, some bad rap. Yeah, but back then he was basically celebrated as a genius with every new game. And rightly so, in my opinion. These were like really... everything they did was really, really good. Which reminds me to play Dungeon Keeper at some point. I love that game and I haven't played that in ages. And I have never actually played Dungeon Keeper 2. Which I believe, I don't know, it's not considered as good, I think. And I bought Populous 3 when that came out as well. Rainer, by the way, hi. My brother was getting his first PC, P60, the first one in our home. I remember being obsessed with the screenshots of Theme Park. Oh yeah, that's another Bullfrog game. That's a great game too. I think my sister had that on her Amiga, which is now actually my Amiga 1200. The one that she had back in the day. And she had that, the AGA version, I believe, even. If that exists. I have the original big box version of that here too. Because she kept it in her attic all these years, and now I have it. Yeah, Theme Park I never really played that much. But I guess it's a really good one as well. At least the idea always sounded good. I was using my A500 until 1997. Yeah, same thing here basically. I had my father's Amiga 2000 with an accelerator and the PC card in it and things like that. It was basically very fully fleshed out Amiga 2000. That was my last Amiga, and I used that up until somewhere around that time, 97, 98. And then I started going to university, and the Microsoft Office stuff became the standard, so I had to have a PC. And begrudgingly used that since then. And then sometime later I switched to Apple, actually, around the G4 era, because I couldn't stand Windows. And that was a better alternative, at least back then. Still using Apple today, mostly, but still don't like Windows, for some reason. Hey, AVSlicious. Thanks for following. Theme Park was probably the most fun I had with Bullfrog games. Oh, I have to check that out then. Eventually I got enough money from my grandpa to buy it. I ended up buying a Bullfrog pack that contained not only Theme Park but also Syndicate, Populous 1 and 2, Powermonger, and Magic Carpet. Oh, Magic Carpet demo, okay. Magic Carpet is another one that I never really played. I looked at it, but didn't quite get it, because it was... there was a time when I thought that the early 3D stuff just looked really, really bad. And I didn't play that. Same reason I didn't play Tomb Raider and things like that. Probably. Because I just found the graphics not so cool. Played a lot of Doom and things. And Duke Nukem on my first PC was. And of course the LucasArts adventures. I was so angry with them when they stopped releasing them for the Amiga. Like, I think Day of the Tentacle was the first one that wasn't released for Amiga. That was also one of the reasons for switching to a PC, actually. Mine wasn't fast, playing 60k with 1.8 megabytes of memory, but I had a hard disk and a modem. Yeah. I mean, that is a pretty powerful Amiga. Hard disk was a complete game changer for the Amiga. And not many people really used hard disks until the A1200, I guess. Most people had Amiga 500s and were kind of stuck with floppy disks. But I had an A1200 as well with a 20 megabyte hard disk, I think, or 40 megabytes even. I don't remember. I think I had a 20 megabyte hard disk in my A2000 and like a 10 megabyte PC partition for the XT card. Which of course, by today's standard, isn't a lot. The end of Amiga was when they they decided to not release X-Wing. Yeah, X-Wing was marvelous. And so was TIE Fighter. I played that way more than X-Wing, actually. TIE Fighter was a good one. I liked the dark side. I'm going to have to sneeze. I'm sorry. Thanks. Portal. Nabend. We only had SCSI 2 at first, which needed a controller that was just as expensive as the hard disk itself. Yeah, that's true. Ridiculously expensive stuff. SCSI. But it was also, at the time, it was the better way. And way more elegant. More civilized times. One of the reasons I bought my first PC back in '93 was to play Day of the Tentacle. Yeah, I think that was around the time when I got the A2000 from my father, because he wanted to play that too. And he did. And I did on his PC back then as well. But I could only play it on my own PC years later. Still enjoyed it though. Of course, it's a great game. I think we have some fighting to do here. And we didn't do enough damage. Let's do some damage. Random pillars of fire. He's got way too many people. I didn't pay attention. Oh, and I think my RGB to HDMI is glitching a bit. Hope this doesn't disintegrate. This is a bit of a test run for this Amiga as well, because it stopped working a couple of days ago. And then I did the trick that I read in a magazine back then, and just lifted it up from the table and let it fall down. And it fixed it! So far. I think it was just loose connection on that accelerator card that I don't remember the name of. Furia, I think. Is the Furia an A600 accelerator card? I think so. Mine would fall apart if I did that. I modded that one hard. Yeah, this has a couple of mods, but I'm pretty sure that everything is fitted as it should. And that accelerator card has one of those PLCC sockets reversed, basically, and sits on top of the processor, probably. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been in there. The only thing that doesn't work on this currently is the floppy disk drive, which, yeah, that stopped working a while back and I didn't get around to fixing that. But otherwise, it's holding up pretty well. And I really want to stream Amber Star at some point, and I'm considering this machine as the device to stream it from. But I'm not sure if it's stable enough. And also I realized that I really need a number pad for Amber Star. I did stream Amber Moon a few years ago, the whole game. And it was amazing fun. So I hope to get some of that fun back. So let's fight a little. Yeah, we decimated them pretty good. Easy living, hi ho. Good to see you. What kind of game is Amber Star? Oh, it's a German RPG for the Amiga that is, I think, not very well known outside Germany, really. It's better known here than elsewhere, I think. And Amber Moon is the successor. That's considered by many one of the, or the best RPG for the Amiga. It's a very, it has a 3D engine and things like that, like kind of Doom-like. Very, very sophisticated for Amiga standards. And Amber Star is like classic RPG, more or less, with fixed graphics, 3D environments. So like kind of like Eye of the Beholder and things like that. But still a good game, I think, and I never played through it. The first one I played back in the day was Amber Moon. So yeah, I'm going to do that in a bit, I guess. Not today, but in a little while. Starting to play Amber Star. At least that's the plan. So let's do some damage here. Completely missed the sequel, glad you streamed it. Yeah, there was supposed to be a third game, but they never finished it because they went bankrupt, I think, and got bought by Blue Byte, I believe. So the spiritual successor to Amber Moon was, whatchamacallit, forgot the name, a PC game. So the Amiga was dead, basically. That was the other reason. There's something wrong. People are dying. What's going on? Someone's screaming. Gentle Bear, good to see you. Good evening. I wish someone streams Eye of the Beholder and C128 with mouse and 2 monitor setup, now that you mentioned Eye of the Beholder. Yeah, I really want to play that as well. At some point. Ah, that's the problem. It's one of these disasters if you play too long. Just a bottomless crack. Yeah, that would be cool to stream. But yeah, I'm going to do Amber Star first, I guess. With the C128 we can have... Probably could could set that up in a way so that you could see the map at all times even and things like that, that would be fancy. I think I have the means to do that. Could use the VGA capture for the map and the regular capture for the other stuff. That would be pretty nice, actually. Yay, we won! Yeah, it's a sci-fi game. Why don't I remember the name of the sequel? Looks like I would have played at the time. I love playing RPGs like Pumpkin Adventure and Realms of Adventure for the MSX2. Though those were more in the style of JRPGs by Dutch homebrew developers. Yeah, Amber Star has kind of a JRPG influence. There is like this top-down view a lot of the times. And then you can also go into 3D dungeons, basically. Albion, yeah, that's what it's called. Thanks for googling that. Yeah, that's... I didn't play very far in that either. At some point, I'm going to have to play through that as well. I think it's a lovely game, but it got... At some point, there was kind of a point where I got stuck, and then I got kind of annoyed. Still a nice game, which actually uses some of the graphics assets from Amber Moon. Let's see if the next level is something else. Yay, we can use a lightning now. Level 8. You're jumping a couple of levels depending on how well you've done. Albion. Yeah. Yeah, that would be another thing that I could play, but I would have to play that on an old PC, I guess. And I'm not really well equipped for that. I have a couple of old PCs, but I'm not equipped for streaming them, I think. I mean, I could just run it like in DOSBox on a modern PC, but that would feel like cheating. Maybe I'll put together a PC to stream some PC stuff. I have a PC, but that is nastily broken, the power supply in that. My streaming, retro streaming PC, the power supply blows the circuit breaker in my flat here every time I turn it on. And then after a couple of times it works, but I'm not going to turn that on again until I have that figured out and hopefully fixed. I started streaming Gothic, which is another German RPG, years and years ago. And then I stopped, mostly because I wasn't feeling like streaming, but partially because the PC started acting up. Get a Mister, it has a 486 core. No, that's cheating as well. Oops, that's super loud. Was it as loud for you? Video Game Whisperer, thanks for resubbing. Didn't even know that animation existed. Thank you anyway. Mini PC with recal box is cheaper. Yeah, I have a I think it's some kind of Core 2. It's not really retro, but it runs XP and most retro games. It's like a compromise between a Windows 98, DOS, Windows 95 kind of thing, and a newer PC. It's still kind of cheating. It's relatively new in the retro realm of things, but most games that I want to play, like something like Diablo and things like that, games I loved, they run very well on that machine. Or they ran until the power supply gave in. So all I have to do basically is to put another power supply into that, but I didn't get around to it. There's so much stuff to repair. There's a new DOSBox alternative which emulates whole PC setups, I think. Yeah, yeah. That exists. Got my ThinkPad with XP running the other day. Installed my 2D MMO on it. Love supporting old machines. Yeah, that's very much appreciated. The screenshots and little videos you posted of that looked great already. Looking forward to that. DOSBox X. DOSBox. Okay, never tried that. Yeah, but I like at least semi-old hardware because I like repairing stuff. That's mainly why I go through the effort of using original machines. And I think I have a laptop that runs Windows 98 from that time, like a Pentium 1, I think, of some description. That would be a nice gaming machine too. For old Windows games and DOS games. And quite easy to set up compared to a tower PC. Like OS X, but for DOS. It's DOS, but with shadows and things. Graphically improved DOS would be kind of cool. That would be kind of funny. So I think we need to do some actual tactics for the first time. Going to have my people follow the champion and then slowly move towards the enemy. This is like ActRaiser on SNES, but bigger and without the platform action stages. Twisted Manted. This Populous is like ActRaiser. Interesting. I never played ActRaiser, I don't think. We'll probably spend more time repairing them than using them. Yeah. That's kind of the thing. That's one of the reasons why I started streaming in the first place. Because I realized that I actually never really used the systems I was repairing. And this gives me a good excuse to have a bit of a fireside chat without having an actual fire and using old computers to play the games that I love. And sometimes new games for the old systems. So, you should all just build some houses. And rest for a while. You too. Uh-oh. Some disaster going on there. There. And we can extinguish the fire by drowning it. Ha ha ha. So I'm just going to do the same to them. But more powerful. Revenge. Actress is probably like Populous but with platform stages. That would be fun. Populous with platform stages. I wouldn't mind that actually. Oh, I see disaster brewing there. Uh-oh. That's not good. It's coming right towards me. More disasters. I think the game clock might actually be running too fast. I don't think these disasters happen so quickly normally. I'm also streaming for about an hour now. Not sure. This sucks, of course. My land! My precious land! Just getting my champion out of there. Oh, there was a glitch from the RGB to HDMI. Did you see that? Didn't Molyneux promise something like that for Black and White? Oh, that would be fun. Another good game from Bullfrog. Black and White. Yeah. They made good games. Some really, really good games. Hi, Flatline 80. Good evening. Hey, Luca Falla. Good to see you in the chat. I'm trying to do these more frequently. Again. Just like the old days. And I also said before that I'm going to start streaming Amber Star, the predecessor to Amber Moon, sometime soon. What's going on? Someone's dying again. Oh. All these disasters. I think we can do an Armageddon. All the regular people turn into Greek demigods. They say Black and White might have been Molyneux's last good game. Well, aside from Fable perhaps, but I haven't played that. Oh, I didn't play Fable at all. So many games to check out. Hey Katrina, good to see you. I had supported this Kickstarter and actually enjoyed the pre-release version. Too bad they stopped working on it. I didn't follow that at all, I have to admit. The announcement may have been a bit too subtle. I completely missed it. Oh, I'm sorry about that. It was a really spontaneous idea. I only announced this half an hour before I started streaming, I think. Because I worked on the VIC-20 diagnostics the whole day before that. Just winding down basically now. Goddess, yeah, that was the mobile game. I played that for a bit. Well, that wasn't as good as Populous. It wasn't as fun, at least. Oh, for PC as well. Maybe I'm going to have to check that out. I didn't like the... I still don't like mobile games, except for Angry Birds, maybe. I love that. But apart from that, not too many mobile games in my house here. Goddess Wars. Yeah, maybe. I don't remember. I remember there was like a free demo version. I played that and decided it wasn't for me after trying that. Or it was kind of ad sponsored or something. I don't quite remember. Didn't like it very much. The graphics looked neat and the concept was kind of similar to Populous, but didn't really get into it. Tetris on the Motorola E1000. Nice. Yes, I played Snake and things like that. That doesn't count. I mean modern touchscreen mobile games. The proper mobile games. I love playing Game Boy and things. So everything that doesn't require a touchscreen to work is good still. Not everything. Goddess sounds like German pig Latin. Yeah. Well, I'm about to go out to play a mobile game. Ingress. Gets me off my arse at least. Ah, okay, that's one of... Yeah, I played the Pokemon Go for a while. And that was actually fun. Although I played it mostly because the kid got into Pokemon really, really badly. Still, great fan of Pokemon. And I still struggle to play through my first Pokemon game on my Game Boy, Pokemon Red. I started. And I think I'm on my fourth arena or something like that. Sheila, hey. Tetris is one of the few games on my mobile. Yeah, Tetris is great on any platform. That is just a great classic game. Tried Lemmings, which is a real favorite on Amiga, but hated the way it worked on mobile. Yeah, that's the same for me with most games. Some of the LucasArts adventures, they did that really cleverly, and that worked pretty well for me. Although I prefer to play them with a mouse, but they did a really great job for the mobile versions because you use the screen basically as a trackpad, and that worked really well for those games. I still play Pokemon Go too. I haven't started. I think I still have it installed on my phone, but I haven't started it up in ages. Always play some kind of Tetris on my handhelds. Never gets old. Yeah, same here. Although the one and only version to rule them all is the original Game Boy version, I think. That's just the best Tetris there ever was, and possibly ever will be. Oh, I think my RGB to HDMI starts flickering again. Maybe this is not the machine to play Amber Star on, but let's see how it does. Possibly it's overheating after a while. It is pretty warm in here. Hey Toby, good evening. Stop playing mobile games after I played a Red Alert version on the iPad. Oh, I never checked that out. Good evening, nice little A300 you have. Yeah, Junebug. Ingress currently has an event going on which had me out walking for 4 hours last night after midnight. Ooh, kind of scary. But at least, yeah, Pokemon did the same for me. We had some night actions and actually walked in different landscapes and things like that. Everything had an effect on the game or on the Pokemon you could find there. Overway. Hey Jan, good to see you in here again, enjoying it while I'm at work. Oh, sorry to hear that. I'm finished with work. This is basically my winding down from work. I live in northern Norway. It doesn't get dark at the moment. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not that scary. How do you cope with that? I barely can stand it here where it gets like the sun rises at like 5 o'clock or something at the moment, and I am somebody who wakes up really quickly when the sun rises, so I'm really up early these days, most of the times. Could get proper curtains and things like that, but I don't have them. But how do you manage to sleep at all? Blackout curtains, yeah, that's what I have too. Having a effed up circadian rhythm anyway. Yeah, I used to have that until I became a father and had to get up early. And now I can't sleep past 8 most days, even if I try. No matter how long I stay awake for. Those old SMD cups are nasty and prone to leaking, yes indeed. Especially in these. This is recapped. Got this from Katrina, who's in the chat. By the way, thank you for that. It still works. It stopped working for a while, but then I hit it with a stick and it started working again. And it continues to do so. Never played the Amiga version of Populous II, but I played the PC version with higher resolution. I don't think... Oh yeah, there was... The PC version was 2. One had 16 colors, higher resolution, and I forgot about that. And the other one was like this, 320 by 200 pixels, but 256 colors, I believe. That looks a bit better indeed. The high-res version wasn't bad. Thanks for reminding me of that. I'm going to have to check that out too. I have the PC version, the original PC version of Populous 2 as well. But yeah, this is one of my favorite games. I don't have too many original games, really, but this is one of the games, kind of like Monkey Island 1. I have like 5 different copies of Monkey Island 1, I think, for different systems. And I also bought the mobile version. Yeah. That's the kind of collector I am. Not much of a collector, except for the things I really, really love. Which are not too many. But the PC version, I have it's a CD version of Populous. I think that came with Powermonger on one CD from some sale, whatever. Maybe even a magazine. But I have that on CD, the original PC version of Populous 2, I am sure. Well, you fixed it. Yeah, but it broke down again after I fixed it the first time. And currently the disk drive doesn't work, Katrina. So it's going to... Probably there's going to be a video of fixing the disk drive eventually. I think I already had the same problem when I streamed from this the last time. But I forgot about this. Because most other Amigas I have working disk drives, and I actually like using old floppy disks. Collector of hardware rather than software. Yeah, but I'm definitely going to have to downsize my hardware collection at some point, because I am running out of space. Always remember that magic morning at school when the teacher tried to get the hang of Workbench while all the other kids played action games and tried to get the hang of Populous with no English and no handbook. Yeah, I can imagine that this is not too easy to understand without any manual. I mean, probably you can do stuff, but you have no idea what the purpose is, I guess. Oops. Didn't want that to happen that quickly. 204. What's this downsizing? Just bought an Ultimate 64 and the Speccy Next 3. Oh, I'd love to have both. But I don't have any money at the moment. Or at least no money to spare on fun stuff. Plus I already have a lot of original machines. Including multiple Speckies. And too many C64s to count at this point, I guess. Not even sure how many I have. I mean, full C64s, I probably can see like 8 of them from here, where I'm sitting, without even moving my head too much. It's kind of getting ridiculous, but they are all lovely, and yeah. It's difficult to get rid of stuff. Especially when I repaired it myself. It's making things... I get strangely attached to machines. 2 new machines in 1 month. That's a lot. And it's also a lot of money. Good for you, though. Found out within the first hour of being exposed to computer games that I was more cut out for Populous than Super Hang-On. Yeah, same here. I was always the kind of slow to react strategy. Not even good at strategy games, but Populous for some reason I was able to handle quite well. And I think I have a little note in the original box that I have with my handwriting on it, with the level codes for the levels up to level 900 something. And I think this has like 999 levels, so I'm pretty sure I played through this back in the day, but yeah, it gets ridiculously hard later on. I remember that for sure, and it took a lot of effort in the later stages here. This is all just... don't even have to think much, but later it gets really... you have to react really quickly, your energy levels are really low. Most stuff you can do here, like build anywhere, are forbidden. It gets really tough later, this game. But, yeah. The difficulty ramps up slowly, which is something I really, really like about this game. It's not getting frustrating until much later. Or not too frustrating. Strategy games for the win, yeah. But yeah, I'm not really good at strategy games. At least the modern ones I tried. I love playing Civilization and things like that still. I'm not very good at them. But I love playing them. I think I could still play the first one quite well. I played that a lot. But the newer ones, there's just so much to keep an eye on and things like that. Kind of overwhelms me a bit. Yeah, I think my A500, or rather the one that my father bought, he bought that in '87. That had Kickstart 1.2 originally. And then he, of course, upgraded to 1.3 at some point. I still have that little leaflet that came with the 1.3 upgrade. Kind of rare, I guess. There was a little, just like a couple of pages of how to install it and things like that. And it also came, funnily enough, that came in handy when I worked on the Amiga 1000, because it came with the Amiga 1000 Kickstart 1.3 boot disk, actually, and the ROM for the Amiga 500. So I had that as well. I recently bought a fishing game on Steam and it has an idle mode. I was a bit annoyed finding out that the game plays itself better than I do. Oh, yeah, I can relate to that. But as long as it's fun. I mean, I can totally imagine like watching a game play itself. That's actually what I did most of the times with Speedball. I played the manager mode, and you can just watch the games, which are quite fun to watch, actually. Computer playing against itself. I love that. I mean, it was fun playing Speedball 2 in 2-player mode as well. But I was never really good at playing against the CPU in the action mode. So what do we do? Do we fight this out, or do we just go into Armageddon? I think I just want to go into Armageddon! Put some 1.3 Kickstart into my A600. Don't even know if that is allowed, but it works. Yeah, this one had a Kickstart switch in it that I removed. This one had 1.3 and 2.5, I think, is the version that the Amiga 600 came with. 2.05. There are some amazing looking German-only football managers and other strategy games I really want to play. Like Bundesliga Manager Professional. That's a good one. Played that quite a lot. Those accelerators were expensive. Yeah, indeed. They are still expensive, I think. The old ones and the ones that are newly released are pretty expensive still. 40 megahertz GVP with disk on my A500 back in the day. Oh, those were nice. Yeah, I remember those. GVP stuff was super great anyway. Anstoß, yeah. Another great one. German football games. 1 megabyte of chip was also really good. I have 1 megabyte of chip in this machine, actually, which helps a lot. English versions, but they have English teams, so it seems kind of pointless. Possibly you could in some way hack that. I don't know. If you can just copy some files over from the other version or something. Sometimes stuff like that works. Spin-off that Bundesliga called The Manager was very popular here in Italy. Nice. I don't know if all of those games got translated to be honest. I never looked into that. They were just readily available here. And really, really popular. And they are really well-made games. I think I bought my Amiga hardware from Alternate back in the day. They sold Amigas once. Oh, that's nice. Didn't even know they existed back then. But, I mean, yeah, that must have been early 90s, mid-90s. They existed then for sure. They still exist. I think I bought my the Mac I use for video editing, Mac Mini. I bought that from them. Because I always wanted to support them. They are nice people, I think, and been around for a long time, which makes them more believable as a company. Love to do that. Want to play Die Schicksalsklinge on the Amiga. Only ever played the PC version. Yeah, I started playing that. And yeah, I never got the hang of it, but maybe I'll give it another shot sometime. It was a lot of discs, I remember that. I had like borrowed a copy from a friend who loved the game. And it was ridiculous, 10 discs or something, 11, 12. And then sometime later I bought the PC version on a CD. I have that still somewhere. That was easier to handle, the CD version. There's at least an English version of Anstoß World Cup Edition, which is amazing. I have a physical copy. Oh, okay. And it's called Anstoß as well, which is kind of funny. Not a German word you would expect anybody out of Germany, outside Germany, to know. Unless you're a really, really great soccer football fan. Bought my PC stuff from Alternate since mid-90s. Yeah, I guess that's somewhere around the time they probably started. 93 or 4 or 5. I don't know. And Amigas were still a thing back then. 5 DD discs on those. Okay. So maybe I misremembered that. I thought I had to buy like a box of discs for copying that. But it's been a long time. My Amiga was from Quelle. I think mine was from Warta. The Amiga 500. 8 discs on Amiga. Okay. So I had to buy a new box of cheap floppy disks. Oh, RGB to HDMI is panicking. It's flickering. I call it Anstoß so you understand. Oh, okay. Thank you. I thought it would be the English title as well, which would be funny. And Stokes. Alternate sold Atari and Commodore stuff back then. Nice. Sold my C64C and used my savings to buy the 500. Yeah. My dad sold my Aldi C64, which was my first C64, my first computer. And then I got his old A500. Which I still have, actually. I don't have the Commodore 64, obviously, because that got sold. But I got an Amiga. Japanese loves German games titles like Einhänder or Ehrgeiz. Yeah. I remember as a kid thinking that Motorhead was a German band because of the umlauts. Didn't think anybody else would use these ridiculous letters. And nowadays I know that a couple of languages actually have umlauts, and yeah. It's not as ridiculous as I thought. can't do an umlaut. Oh, I'm sorry about that. You don't have to. In Germany it was actually, it still is probably, if you can't do an umlaut for some reason, like on the C64, I remember that, you just used the regular letter and then an E after that. And Germans read that as an umlaut then. At least that was the standard back then. I don't know if modern Germans, younger Germans, still interpret it that way, but that used to be the thing. That's how we used umlauts in emails when the internet was new. Yeah, exactly. You had to use that sometimes because, yeah. There were no characters in the ROM for that. Probably there was no room for those characters. In most cases back in the day. They didn't have many special characters at first, the computers. 7-bit US ASCII mail gates. Yeah, okay. 7-bit, not quite enough to fit all the umlauts and, I don't know, accents and things like that into the character set. But I remember on the C64 I figured out how to change the character set in BASIC and made my own umlaut stuff at one point. Sheriff Ramp, hey. I had a German teacher a long time ago who would never use SZ, even in lowercase. Oh. Yeah, that's a very, very strange letter indeed. SZ. Most Germans don't know how to use that properly, I guess. I'm not sure I know how to use it properly sometimes. I suppose Anstoß would have that. Yeah, it would have that now. But they wrote it in capital letters probably on the box. So there's no capital, or there is a capital SZ actually, but that's not used. It's complicated. There's a nice Wikipedia article about that, actually going into the historic details. And I don't remember half of it, but yeah, it was quite fascinating. There was attempts of making a capital SZ at one point. Hey, Caliber Spy. That makes me want to sing Wieso, Weshalb, Warum. Yeah, I definitely remember that. I watched that a lot. That's the German title music for Sesame Street, the German version of that. By the way, for the people who are not from Germany or German-speaking countries, or speaking German for some other weird reason. Don't know why you would want to speak German. I had the, yeah, the C64 had the pound sign, that's true. And they didn't have the euro sign. Probably because that didn't exist yet. Oops, can't I? I don't have a chieftain, a champion. We need one. Definitely. And we're going to have to move here towards the enemy. And then I'm going to take a little break after this level, I think. Yeah. 1.5 hours. I'm going to pause for like 5 minutes or something after winning this, hopefully. And then I'll be back. Need a new drink. My Pepsi is bottomed out. And I need to cool off a bit because it's ridiculously warm in here. Hey Terry Finney, thanks for following. Terry Finney. I'm Dutch, but I understand and speak German because I have German friends. Okay, that's a good reason to learn German, I guess. I suppose there are reasons for speaking German. I mean, I normally speak German in everyday life, but in my videos I don't, because more people understand German. Far, far more people. Most Dutch people of certain age that had German television in their youth understand German and mostly can speak it too. Yeah, some of the Dutch people I met during my travels spoke excellent German, actually. And if they didn't speak excellently, they at least understood German very well. I watched Dutch television. Sometimes they had movies that were cut or banned here, playing at dinner time uncut. Yeah. Germans were quite prude for a long time. I guess some still are. Oh, that's a bug actually in the game that did that. It doesn't normally, if I right click on the symbol, it should center on my champion. Doesn't work sometimes. Oh, natural disaster time again. Let's do Armageddon. Dutch TV. Most Dutch people I know speak excellent German, but vigorously deny it. Yeah, I heard about that. So, yeah, I'm going to take a quick break. Back in 5 minutes or so. See you then. What button am I supposed to push? This one. I'm back. All you fancy people have Fassbrause. See you, Luca. Time for dinner. I brought the banana. So, yeah, I'm going to eat that on camera. Alpha Edelpilz. Okay. Don't know that one. Actually not very good at drinking beer at the moment. Otherwise I would probably have a beer now. I get drunk ridiculously quickly. Because I didn't drink. There's maybe a year between me drinking. But I bought some beers recently because it's getting very summery. And I like a cold beer in summer. Yeah. Top banana. Fassbrause was the cheapest flavored beverage in East Germany. Oh yeah. I went to a music festival in somewhere in Brandenburg. I don't remember what it's called. Years ago, 10 years ago or something. And the main drink was Fassbrause actually for the whole festival, which was kind of nice. They also had beer, and I had some beers. One beer and I'm ready for bed. Yeah, maybe I hope to get into training again a bit this summer, but yeah. I used to drink a lot of beer actually and didn't get as drunk as I get now. And also the hangovers were much less significant back in the day. So let's play the next level. Oh, we can do earthquake stuff now. That's pretty fun. At a certain age, drinking beer means a lot of dates with the toilet. Yeah. That is also one of the downsides of age. I guess. But I do enjoy like alcohol-free beer nowadays quite a lot. I like that. Never would have drank that back in the day because it's fake beer, but there's actually some really good ones these days. And that gets rid of at least half of the problems. So we can just drown these people, I think. It's a bit cruel, but it works. I think there's just one. Oh, there's a few more. There's very few enemies here in this level. Okay. Possibly we can just kill them all by hand. The god that I am. The cruel god. But you don't get many points if you do that. So you have to build up your population and things like that. That's all good for points, and you get a little lightnings for that. So you can level up your character, your god character. Desperately miss cider. Oh yes, cider is nice. Been a while since I had cider. They are also drinking that a lot in Sweden. That's probably the last time I had cider, when I was in Sweden a few years ago. Cider is good. Is there alcohol-free cider? Probably would enjoy that. It's probably like apple juice. Like bitter apple juice. But there's also like pear cider and things like that. That's pretty tasty. favorite non-alcoholic beer is Erdinger alkoholfrei. Okay. Yeah, I don't like Weizen that much. But Erdinger is probably my favorite Weizen beer. Friend of mine actually lives near Erding, and I visited the brewery once there. No idea if that's still brewed there actually, but there was a building that was a brewery. I didn't go inside, I just was sightseeing, and I noticed that there was a brewery in Erding. The only beer I kind of liked was Alt. Yeah, Alt is kind of mean. My memories of Alt beer are very, yeah, tainted by the fact that I had a lot of it. We played with my old band, we played in Cologne, and there was a lot of Alt beer, and Alt beer is served in these small glasses, so you need a lot to get started, even if you are used to beer, and then you can't stop, because it's quite tasty and quite mild, and yeah. Didn't go too well for all of us, I think, especially for me. I had quite a bad hangover the next day. But we had like free Alt beer when we played there. It's always a mistake. Never give the band free beer. Or always give the band free beer, rather. But also offer soft drinks and snacks. I think the last time we played with my band that I have now, we also had like completely free beer, which was kind of nice, but I couldn't have any because I was driving. Should try Belgian Creek beer, it's very sweet. Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, Belgian beers, some of them are really, I didn't try many, but some of them are really, really good. German beers are mostly more bitter. I like that as well. Kind of got used to it, basically. Alt is better than Kölsch. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I wasn't talking about Alt. Alt is more like Düsseldorf, not Cologne. We had a lot of Kölsch, of course. Alt is the dark beer, usually. That's really tasty as well, and you get a really bad hangover from that. If you drink too much. It's very malty, usually. That's good. Kind of like the German equivalent to stuff like Guinness, but not as tasty. Milder than Guinness. I like Guinness, actually. Guinness is a good beer. Yeah, I should be buying some beer soon, I guess. And then enjoy some of it. At the moment I have Flensburger, which is like from next door, basically, northern Germany. I really like that. That's what my dad used to drink, and I drank that his beer later on when I started drinking beer sometimes. I put Guinness into my goulash. Oh, that's, yeah, I can imagine that. That's a good beer for cooking all kinds of... Oh! What are you doing? Fire rain? No thanks. We should do something mean here too. Some lightning strikes, but that's not very effective. Yeah. We can burn some stuff here. You can't really aim this properly, but can kind of approximate where it lands. You can also do the earthquake thing. Kind of want to try that, but it's really destructive for my people as well. Same with the swamp stuff. Just going to put a swamp here, I think, because it's so much fun. And the noise the drowning people make is great. I'm going to have to watch out for my people not falling in. Radler, yeah, that's a good compromise. One of my worst coming-of-age experiences was being left alone with a bottle of Jever. Horrid. Decided not to become an adult. Oh, I like Jever, actually. That's also a beer from next door to me, basically. I think it's still made there, actually. At least some of it. Probably there's like international Jever these days, but it's a little town in the north of Germany where that beer is made, and it's really bitter in a really peculiar way, but I kind of got used to that as well. I like Jever a lot. And the alcohol-free Jever is pretty good. Because it's so bitter for an alcohol-free beer. Kind of tastes like proper beer, I was about to say, but kind of like beer with alcohol, because it's quite bitter. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, Radler, half beer and half soda. Half beer, half Fassbrause. Populous in close-up, aka ethnic cleansing the game. Yeah. Belgium, I was once served a pilser with a few drops of syrup. It was nice. Alt Irish Red Duckstein. That's not improper beers, that's just special beers. Yeah, sometimes like beer mixed beer stuff can be quite tasty, although I prefer pure beer. Apart from Radler, I really like that. That's really good. Like lemonade with beer. It's basically what it is. It's really good on a hot day, served really cold. So this should be over pretty soon, I guess. Guinness with Coke. It offends bartenders, but it tastes really nice. I never tried that actually. Don't like mixery. Yeah, that's like beer with different kinds of flavors. No, I don't really like that stuff. It's like drinking lemonade, but you get drunk. To me, it's not really worth it. I like a good lemonade better than these beer mixes. Most of them. That was a cruel sound. Quite difficult to make if you don't put the Coke in very carefully. It's nothing but a mess of foam. Oh yeah, both of these things foam ridiculously on their own. So mix them and it's probably going to get ridiculous. Interesting. I'm going to have to try that. I like both things separately, but I've actually never tried to mix them. I shall get some Guinness next time I'm at the somewhere that sells Guinness. I'm not even sure if my local supermarket has Guinness here. Yay! Kaufland. Yeah, we don't have Kaufland. I don't think we have Kaufland here. The next Kaufland is probably 50 kilometers away or something like that. Nothing better than a cold Radler on the beach. In Holland we had a rather bitter beer called Brand. When Heineken took it over, they changed the recipe and made it sweeter. Never drank it after that. Yeah, Heineken I actually like, but that's a really mild beer as well. I like drinking that. It's one of the mild things I like. Heineken, I don't mind that at all. We're talking about beer and playing Populous. Or I play Populous, you're watching. Yeah, I think I'm going to do one more level and then I'm going to call it quits. Oh, we can do Fire Rain now. That's nice. Fire Rain is good. I love Fire Rain. I should save the game sometime. I don't even know if this works with the WHD load version. It's been a while since I played this far. Kaufland is only 10-minute train ride from me. I like shopping there. Yeah, Kaufland usually they have good stuff. We have a Karstadt here. They might have Guinness. They have like specialties grocery thing in there, in the basement basically. They probably have Guinness. And there's also a really good specialized store for beverages. They also have Guinness, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I bought Guinness there at some point. That's not very far away. That's where I would go first, probably, to get Guinness and some other specialties of international beverages. It is so warm in here. And I'm not even drinking beer. And it's not even very warm outside. I think it's like 22 degrees Celsius or something. Yesterday was pretty warm. Yesterday I didn't do much. Except for writing emails and drinking lots of water with ice. Was under the impression that every town in Germany has Kaufland at Lidl. I think more Lidls than Kaufland here, at least in the north. Lidl is pretty common, and Aldi, of course, that's everywhere. Oh, we can do fire rain. Let's do some fire rain. Oh, that's not a very big fire rain. Weak fire rain. More weak fire rain. Yeah. Let's do this. It does more damage, I think. That's pretty effective. I like that. Anything else? We can do swarms again and lightning. And that's not so much fun, especially since we want to go there. I was under the impression... Oh, you already read that. Sorry, I'm getting a bit tired. I was working on the VIC-20 diagnostics cartridge that didn't work in my last video. I've tried to use that and it didn't work. And I figured out why. And now it works and is better than before. But it took a while to figure that out. Should do a VIC-20 stream at some point. There are some really fun. These are like the little games that are really fun on the VIC-20. Some really fun, simple, crude graphics, beepy sound, but I love them. Never seen a VIC-20 live and in action. Ooh. I had a corrupted Win11 install USB stick that kept puzzling me today. Yeah. That is probably pretty horrible. Trying to install Windows 11. And then having corrupted install media. Not so great. Where and or how did you learn to speak English? I watch your YouTube videos and I am impressed. Thank you. At school mostly, and then I studied English at university for a bit, but I didn't ever finish studying. At one point, I wanted to be an English teacher. But when it came to actually teaching, I sucked. So I stopped that. Problem is, it goes Windows cannot be installed, and you are none the wiser. Yeah, that's like the typical informative Windows error codes. But I guess every operating system has them. Yeah, I think we should win in about a second. There's only one house left. Yay! 26,000. That's not too bad. And I think we get a new lightning for every 12,000 points or something like that. So we got 2. Yeah, let me see if I can save the game. I'm going to stop streaming in a couple of seconds, I think. Oh, that's another... There it is. Save game. Beta stream. Can I save it? Uh-oh. It's doing something. I think it's trying to save to floppy disk. Hey, Global Baker, good to see you. I'm trying to save the game. That's why the screen went black. Probably doesn't work in the WHD load version. Yeah, I think it's trying to save to disk drive or something. My spouse taught English for 3 years, despite not being trained to do so, just Latin and ancient Greek. That's basically the same. I mean, if you can do Latin and ancient Greek, you probably can do English. Yeah, I think it just crashed completely. Sorry about that. I lost my save game, probably. But I can watch the VOD of the stream and get the passwords. Because you can just enter the password for your deity and you can enter the name of the level and then you get back to where you stopped, basically. Saving games didn't really make sense once you finish a level. I'm just going to reset the Amiga. Clearly doesn't do much when trying to save the game. If it's not a cap problem, I don't know. Oh, and now, yeah, it doesn't boot up from the SD card anymore. I think we just broke the Amiga, maybe. Or I did, rather. Oh, now it's doing something more. Guess it's time to grab the Turrican floppy. Yeah, no, this Amiga has a broken floppy disk drive, unfortunately, so I can't even do that. And now it's not booting anymore. Yeah. Not even a guru. Yeah, as I said before, this Amiga 600 was acting up before. But it worked for all this time now. Just going to do another reset. I think we might have corrupted the hard disk, which is an SD card in this one, I think. Another fixing an A600 video incoming. There is going to be fixing the disk drive at some point. Hard power cycle? Maybe. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Yeah, I'm probably going to do that. Let's see if that helps. Don't have high hopes. I think I corrupted the hard disk by resetting this in the middle of trying to write something. The RGB to HDMI seems to still work. And the disk activity LED lights up. But it should boot faster than this already, I think. Well, that sucks. Shouldn't have tried to save the game, I guess. Do you have a spare Amiga in a box behind you? Yeah, several, but I wanted to stop the stream anyway, so this is kind of a good point to stop, I guess. But, yeah. I kind of wanted to use this Amiga 600 to start streaming Amberstar, because I already installed it on this, which was a kind of a pain in the butt, because it doesn't like newer upgraded Amigas at all, the original version, and the WHD load version is kind of painful to install. Because Amberstar is pretty special in that you have the character generator and things like that before you start the actual game. You do that before you install the game, during the installation process basically, and you can do that in WHD load. But the installer doesn't work on my Amiga 1200. It doesn't like the 68060 that's in there. It does work on this one though. So I had to install it on this one. But I could have just copied the files over to the A1200, which works more reliably. Yeah, there's a Furia. That's 6820. So that Amber Star works on that. We expect a 12 hours video of a full breakdown of the issue and fixing it. 12 hours video. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to manage making a 12-hour video. Not even managing to make a 3-hour stream. This is already 2 hours. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, this clearly doesn't work anymore. So I guess I'm going to have to try to fix this and end the stream for today. Can easily create 12 hours of footage, but then comes editing. Yeah, editing is a nightmare, especially if you have a lot of footage. I have a number of times I probably had 12 hours of footage altogether. Yeah, the usual amount is like 4 or 5 hours for a regular video, and then editing it down to around half an hour. It's a lot of effort. Guess it's screwdriver time. Yeah, hammer time. Jan Peter unplugged. Did you have an Amiga that couldn't be fixed? Yeah, I guess it could be fixed, but I didn't manage yet an Amiga 500. And I also still have the Amiga 4000 that I didn't dare continuing on. There's probably only 1 or 2 connections missing on that one. Maybe I dig that out again. But the A500 is kind of a painful thing because I have no idea. I've checked so many things on that one. There's probably some connection missing as well. It's a haunted machine. Yeah, so Amigas are kind of my nemesis in terms of fixing them. All the C64s I have attempted to fix, I fixed at this point, I think. Some took some years, but all of them are working again. But the Amigas, not so much. Have you talked about the Commodore purchase yet? No, not really. Are you buying a new one? I don't have much money at the moment, so I'm probably not going to buy a new one. I also have like at least 20 C64s, I guess, or something like that. I don't really need one. Maybe they should. I'm hoping for them to sending me a review unit, but I didn't hear from them yet, so I guess that's not going to happen. And Perifractic is just going to make his own review video and get all the attention. Amigas are just such sophisticated machines. Of course they are hard to fix. Yeah, they are kind of. There's a lot going on, and a lot has to be timed correctly, much more than in a C64. It's much more complex in an Amiga. And you can break them really easily. Something's a bit out of sync, they are just going to crash. They are selling so many, they should have a few spares for review. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath. I wouldn't mind a review unit, but probably not going to buy one because I don't see why I would spend that money, even though it is a good price. I have to say that it's a good product. I like it. It's basically the ultimate 64 Elite. Not too excited about it. C64 is kind of a complete system, although having an official badge is nice to have. Yeah, it's just a nice to have. And I like the fact that they brought these 3 separate products basically together and are selling them at a lower price than they ever were, actually. So that's kind of good. Just turning the Amiga off. It doesn't make sense to let it run for any longer, I guess. It's not booting up. But I'm pretty sure it's just a matter of reinstalling the workbench stuff. I've heard you can break an Amiga just by saving a Populous II game. Yeah, at least in WHD load. And with a broken floppy disk drive. I think it's tried to read or write to the floppy disk and then it swapped to the hard disk. And that kind of messed things up. Built one with old parts and paid just as much without the new keyboard. Yeah. Yeah, and the new keyboard is a good thing. I think that's a fully mechanical keyboard with Gateron switches, I think. So it's very good value for money, I guess. If you don't have a C64, it's a good thing to buy, I guess. And it's a real... it has a real Commodore badge. I don't know if it's a real Commodore, but yeah. They licensed the name. Complete packages was the reason I bought one of the new ones. Yeah, it's definitely a good deal. And yeah, good quality. As far as I know, all the components are really good. Ultimate is really nice, yeah. And it has the modern conveniences of having HDMI out, built right in, USB inputs, things like that. Wi-Fi. All the RAM expansions you can ever dream of, and even an accelerated processor mode and things like that. So many good things that you can just choose from in a menu. Runs all kinds of cartridges from an SD card, all kinds of disk images. Still analog output, yeah. It's still, you can use it as an old C64, or you can use the modern stuff, basically. You can connect original disk drives if you want. It's a really nice product. I really don't mind that. Probably has a disk drive that boots all the features. I wonder if they will do an Amiga with that same idea in mind. I don't think they have the rights to do that. The Amiga stuff is mostly owned by Cloanto, I think. And I don't think Cloanto is going to sell those rights, because that's their main source of income at the moment, probably. I'm not sure how that business stuff works, but yeah, Hyperion owns some of it, and I think but the trademarks and things are mostly held by Cloanto at this point, I guess. And so are the ROMs and things. Yeah, and that's, I think the Amiga Kickstart and C64 ROMs are owned by Cloanto, and Hyperion made the new version, and I think they are still suing each other over it. For some reason, I don't know. It's just a mess. That's one good thing that came out of this Commodore thing, that they probably consolidated all the Commodore stuff in one company now. Whatever company, conglomerate, I don't know. I don't know much about that whole thing and the people involved and how much everybody is involved. Yeah, I think the Commodore Incorporated, they're going to shut down. I think, as far as I understand, they bought like the 47 or whatever it was, different licenses and brought them all together. At least that's what I understand. I don't have any more information than any of you watching Perifractics videos, which were not really loaded with information. Don't they make paper shredders? No, the Italian company, I think, made laptops and smartphones and things like that. I think that's the company. But there were multiple attempts at making new stuff with the Commodore brand. Headphones, okay. Yeah, notebooks. You said it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to try to drink some beer yet, I think. And end the stream. It's been nice talking to you. I'm sorry that the Amiga broke down. I wanted to show you some more stuff. Namely the Amber Star installation I had on here already, but I'm going to have to install that again somewhere else. And I'm going to have to try to fix this machine. Thanks for hanging out. Drink beer until you think the Amiga works. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of beer. Thank you all for joining me for this impromptu, spontaneous round of Populous II that ended in disaster. Yeah, I'm going to try to do these more regularly again, as I did a couple of years ago. So I'll be back soon, probably in 2 weeks or something like that. That's at least the time frame I've set for myself. Good to see you all. Have a nice, whatever time of day it is where you are. I'm going to try to have a nice evening. See you soon. Bye.